My name is Emily Rodriguez, and the story I'm about to share with you today changed my life forever. If you're also active on social media, creating content on OnlyFans, Instagram, Snapchat, or other platforms, please listen to this story until the end, because what happened to me could happen to you tomorrow. It all started 6 months ago. I was 24 years old, recently graduated from university, just an ordinary girl working freelance in graphic design. I needed extra income to pay rent, and at that time, I was seeing how OnlyFans could be a source of income on social media. I made my decision. I would start with light content, just fitness and lifestyle photos. I made $3,000 in the first month. In the second month, that figure rose to $7,000. My life was changing, but I didn't yet know what a dark path this would turn into. I'll never forget that Thursday evening. It was around 8 p.m. I was at the local Starbucks, settled into my usual corner table. In front of me was my newly purchased MacBook Pro, in my hand a hot vanilla latte, and in my head new content ideas. I logged into my OnlyFans account, checking the new subscriber numbers, when a strange name caught my attention in the private messages section, darkwatcher_47. When I opened the message, my blood ran cold. Your vanilla latte is getting cold, Emily. Maybe you should get a new one. By the way, I really love the pink case. It suits your phone so well, it read. I looked around frantically. Starbucks was crowded, but no one was looking at me. Everyone was in their own world. People working on their laptops, young people chatting with friends, an old man reading a book in the corner. Who could this be? My hands started trembling. I immediately logged out of the account, gathered my things, and rushed outside. When I got in my car, I checked the surroundings through the mirrors. No one was there. Just a coincidence, I tried to think, but the voice inside me knew I was lying. I couldn't sleep at home that night. I kept checking my phone, startling at every sound I heard. When morning came, I felt a little better. Maybe it really was a coincidence. Maybe someone just made a lucky guess. At lunchtime, I was hungry and went to the nearest McDonald's. I got a Big Mac meal, sat at a corner table, and took out my phone. I was looking at Instagram when a notification came from Snapchat, a message from Vanish mode. My heart rate accelerated. When I opened the message, what I saw paralyzed me. It was my own photo, right at that moment, at that McDonald's table, taken while I was bringing the Big Mac to my mouth. Below it were just 3 words: "I'm watching you, Emily." 10 seconds later, the message disappeared. The screen went dark. With my hand trembling, I looked around. Out the window, behind me, toward the restrooms, no one was there. Or they were, but I couldn't see them. I couldn't touch the burger again. My stomach started to churn. I immediately ran to my car and couldn't hold back my tears while driving. When I got home, the first thing I did was call the police. I went to the local station, met with a detective. Detective Morrison was a middle-aged, experienced man, but when he heard what I told him, I saw the expression on his face. He didn't believe me. Miss Rodriguez, if you're active on social media, these kinds of messages are normal. Unless there's a serious threat, there's not much we can do, he said. But he's following me. He knows where I am, I shouted. Do you have proof? If the message is still there, can you show it? He said. I took out my phone, but the Vanish mode message had already disappeared. I showed him the Starbucks message. This could be a coincidence. Check if he's using VPN. Let's see if we can find the IP address, he said. But darkwatcher_47 was clever. Proxy servers, VPN, encrypted connections. He was a digital ghost. I filed a report, but I couldn't see hope in Morrison's eyes. After that night, everything got worse. The next morning, I was at Wendy's having a job interview with a friend, a social media manager position for a local agency. The interview wasn't going well. My friend Sarah was saying my OnlyFans history wouldn't be appropriate for the company. Right then, the waiter brought a napkin to the table. On it was a note written in ballpoint pen. The interview didn't go well, huh, Emily? But don't worry, I'll always be with you. Sarah didn't see the napkin, but I froze. What's wrong? Are you okay? She asked. I need to go to the bathroom, I said, and ran to the back. I threw up there multiple times. This wasn't a game anymore. This was a real stalking. But who? Was it the waiter? Someone in the kitchen? The man at the next table? I started to suspect everyone. I didn't leave the house for a week. I closed all my social media accounts, suspended OnlyFans, even considered deleting my Instagram and Snapchat accounts. But then my income source would be completely cut off. How would I deal with rent and bills? During that week, every night at 3 a.m., I had the same nightmare. I was on Jeffrey Epstein's island, but I was one of the victims. Around me were rich, powerful men, and I couldn't escape. Then the scene would change. I was at Larry Nassar's examination room, on the table, in my gymnastics outfit, and I was trying to scream, but no sound came out. The worst was the scene in the Toy Box Killers trailer. David Parker Ray's horrific room, the tools on the walls, and me there, helpless, alone. Each time I woke up drenched in sweat. There was one common point in these nightmares. They were all people who once felt safe, just like me. The Menendez brothers' parents were safe in their Beverly Hills mansion, until the night they weren't. So was I. On the 7th day, my door was knocked at midnight. I was trying to sleep, but my sleep was already gone. My heart was beating so fast I couldn't breathe. I slowly got out of bed, grabbed the charging cable. It was the only defensive weapon in the house. I approached the door, looked through the peephole. No one was there, but on the doormat was a white envelope. I couldn't dare to open the door. I waited like that until morning, my back against the door, my hand on my phone, ready to call 911. When dawn broke, my neighbor Mr. Peterson was returning from his morning run. I shouted to him from the window. Could he pick up the envelope and give it to me? The old man was surprised but helpful. When I opened the envelope and saw the note inside, my stomach turned. Have you ever wondered what the victims on Jeffrey Epstein's island felt like, Emily? Do you know what it means to disappear? To be in a place where no one hears you scream? You'll learn soon. I've prepared a special place for you. I was inspired by the toy box. You'll love it. I'll apply treatment to you like Larry Nassar did. Remember what the Menendez brothers did to their parents? You'll lose your family, too. But first, I'll continue watching you. Every step you take, every breath you take. That morning, I went to the police, showed them the note. This time, Detective Morrison took it seriously. "How did he find your home address?" he asked. "I don't know. I didn't share it anywhere," I said. But then I remembered. Once on OnlyFans, the name of my street might have been visible through the window in the background. Maybe I took a picture of my Amazon package and the address was visible. We don't realize how many traces we leave in the digital world. Morrison assigned the technical team. We put cameras in my house, set up surveillance systems, but I still didn't feel safe. 2 days later, I had to go to 7-Eleven to buy water, a simple thing. It was 3 a.m., I couldn't sleep anyway. I entered the store, it was empty, there was only the cashier, a young kid listening to music with headphones. I went to the cold drinks section, got a blue Gatorade. As I walked to the register, a notification came to my phone. Snapchat, Vanish mode again. My hands trembled, but I opened it. "Blue looks good on you, Emily, but you know, right? Your favorite color is red, just like the pajamas you're wearing tonight." My head spun. How could he know about my red pajamas? That means he was watching my house. Were the cameras inside or outside? I shouted at the cashier, "Is there anyone outside? Are there any cars in the parking lot?" The kid was surprised, took off his headphones. "What? No, ma'am, it's empty outside." But I didn't believe it. I ran to the parking lot, scanned the area. There was a minivan in the corner, dark colored, windows pitch black. I tried to note down the license plate, but the car suddenly moved and sped away. I called the police, reported the license plate number, but the next day I learned a stolen plate was used. The vehicle couldn't be found. I couldn't go anywhere anymore. At Wendy's, Starbucks, McDonald's, 7-Eleven, he was finding me everywhere. The sense of security in familiar places had been shattered. Places I used to go to have a coffee had now become traps. But the worst was my social media addiction. I had closed my OnlyFans account, but I needed money. I returned to Instagram. I was going to share only landscape photos, but 10 minutes after sharing the first photo, darkwatcher_47 sent a message from a new account. "You can't forget me, Emily. I'm part of your life now, just like Epstein was for the girls, just like Nassar was for the athletes. I'm your nightmare and your reality." I started to have a psychological breakdown. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I lost 10 kilos. When my mother called me on the phone and asked, "Emily, baby, what happened to you?" I couldn't tell her the truth. "Just stress, Mom, work," I said. But my mother knew. A week later, she flew in from Miami. When I opened the door and she saw me, her eyes filled with tears. "My God, who are you?" she said. I wasn't looking in the mirror anymore, but I knew. I was a ghost who had lost 20 kilos with dark circles under her eyes, hair falling out. My mother hugged me, and then everything I had been holding in for years exploded. I cried for hours, told her everything. My mother called Morrison, put pressure on him, even tried to get the FBI involved. But finding evidence in digital stalking is almost impossible. I was imprisoned at home for 3 months. My mother stayed with me, but she couldn't stay forever. One day she said to me, "Emily, this can't go on like this. Either you'll learn to live or you'll die." They were harsh words, but she was right. I couldn't stay in the victim role. I started going to a psychologist again, took trauma therapy. She was a wonderful therapist named Dr. Sarah Chen. She told me, "Emily, you're not alone in your story. Thousands of women are experiencing the same thing. OnlyFans, Instagram, Snapchat, these platforms seem to empower us, but at the same time, they make us targets. Like the girls in the Jeffrey Epstein case, first trust is built, then abuse begins. Like Larry Nassar's victims, the authority figure gives you trust, then destroys you. Like the toy box killer's victims, an ordinary day suddenly turns into a nightmare." Something changed inside me after that conversation. I was no longer just a victim, I was a fighter. I bought IP cameras, placed them in every corner of the house. I bought glasses that could record secretly, wore them wherever I went. I started taking personal defense courses, started carrying pepper spray and a stun gun, and most importantly, I started to make my voice heard. I opened an anonymous blog, wrote my story. A surprising thing happened. Hundreds of women messaged me. They were all telling similar stories. OnlyFans users followed at their homes, threatened via Snapchat, address information stolen from Instagram. I wasn't alone. The blog went viral. Local news reached out to me, then national media. One morning, I got a call from Good Morning America. They wanted to do an interview. I accepted, but without showing my face, changing my voice. I told my story on live broadcast. Millions of people sitting in the studio listened to me. After the show, Detective Morrison called. "Emily, the FBI Cybercrimes Unit has taken your file. They're handling it as a serious digital stalking case." Finally, we were making progress. FBI Special Agent Jennifer Walsh took over the case. She was a young, determined agent. "Emily, this isn't just your case. We found evidence that darkwatcher_47 has targeted 17 different women. They're all social media content creators aged 20 to 30, and they sent them all the same kind of messages: Epstein, Nassar, toy box killer, Mendez references. This guy is very sick and very dangerous," she said. Finally, someone believed me. Finally, serious steps were being taken. 4 months later, one day Walsh called me. "Emily, we found him." The words froze in my mouth. "Who is he?" I said. "His name is Marcus Heilman, 38 years old, computer programmer. He had an acquaintance with a former employee who worked at your Starbucks. That's how he noticed you. He put a GPS tracking device under your car. For this, he parked next to your car one day and installed it in 3 minutes. He cracked your home Wi-Fi password so he could monitor your activity inside. He was using VPN, had set up a proxy chain, was communicating through the dark web. But he made one mistake. The minivan at 7-Eleven was stolen, but the day before, his own car was caught on a security camera nearby," Walsh said. Marcus Heilman was arrested. Horrible things were found in his house. Photos of 17 women on the walls, detailed stalking notes, fake IDs, chloroform, handcuffs, electric shock devices. In his basement was a small room, inspired by the toy box, the walls covered with soundproof material. The plan was obvious. First, he would wear them down psychologically, then kidnap them, then I don't even want to think about it. The trial process lasted 8 months. 17 women testified as witnesses. Each told similar stories. Innocent messages at first, then location information, then threats, then psychological terror. The prosecutor described Marcus as the Ted Bundy of the digital age. The defense attorney talked about mental illness, but the jury didn't believe it. Marcus Heilman was sentenced to a total of 84 years in prison for 17 separate stalking crimes, threats, unauthorized location tracking, and cyberbullying. Today, 6 months later, my life still hasn't returned to normal, and maybe it never will. I still sweat every time I enter a Starbucks. I still flinch at every notification. I still look suspiciously at every dark car. But I'm alive, and he's in prison. And now I have a mission to warn other women, to give them tools, to help them make their voices heard. If you're also creating content on social media, please do these things. Never, ever share your exact location information. Clean the metadata from your photos. Use two-factor authentication. Use VPN. Take strange messages seriously and report them immediately. And most importantly, know that you're not alone. My name is Emily Rodriguez. This is my story. And if you're currently thinking you're being followed, tell yourself this: I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor. And together, we will stop this digital terror. Because remember, Jeffrey Epstein's victims stayed silent for years until someone spoke up. Larry Nassar's victims were ashamed until someone had the courage to testify. Some of the Toy Box Killer's victims were never found because no one heard their voice. The Menendez brothers stayed silent about years of abuse until they reached the breaking point. I will not stay silent, and neither should you. Thank you for watching this story. If you've experienced something similar, please ask for help. RAIN, Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network hotline is 1-800-656-4673. National Women's Support Line 183. And always, always report to the police. Take care of yourself, stay safe, and remember, the dark side of the internet is real, but your power is more real.